On an apocalyptic note, why do some people fear that the end of the world is going to happen next Wednesday?
Because it might well do. Because they've created a giant black hole machine in Switzerland. A machine that could create a black hole that will end the universe.
Well, that is the greatest bit of timing I've ever seen in my life.
The Large Hadron Collider in CERN in Switzerland starts on Wednesday.
Or to give it its proper name, the Black Hole Machine.
They've taken all necessary precautions.
No, they haven't.
They haven't taken the necessary precaution of not doing it, though, have they?
There's a 1 in 50 million chance that it could create a black hole which will end the universe. Now, I would argue that if there's any chance of that, like if my kid said to me, can I get a train set up in the loft? I would go, OK. If said, could I get a train set that might end the universe? I'd say, what about a bike?
So you prefer it if they got the protons and then cycled them round the tunnel on a bicycle?
The thing is, I'm sure they're going to find out some interesting things about protons, but I would add, I don't give a fuck.
I think if the...
I think they've taken all the necessary safety precautions,
It's going to... It might create a tiny black hole, right, which is the worst type of black hole, because we'll all get drawn slowly towards Switzerland. And every week this desk will be like 2 feet further over there. And then eventually we'll just look 1 week and Russell have been replaced by just the jaws of infinity.
What was that directed at me, Frankie? The jaws of infinity. I thought we were going to see a cow and chocolate and we'd be in Switzerland, but all of a sudden my eyeballs are sucked out of my face. Just for sitting nearest to the audience.
What? You thought that...
Why am I the first to go?
You're nearest to Switzerland. We tilted it around during the show so that you'd be the one closest to Switzerland.
Well, this is bullshit now.
No one's going to die. It's basically...
He just told me I'm going to die on telly. He looked at me and said I was going to...
My God, I hope you have the cameras rolling when it happens. That'll be incredible. Just him going, and clinging on to the desk, right? While we hammer at his fingers. Go! Go proudly! No, go, Russell! Go, Brett.
You'd be like that. There's more space on scenes we'd like to see.
Okay, John's story struck me during the week. This you may not have seen one. It was a story in Ireland in the Evening Herald in Dublin last week. And it's quite a moving story. It's about Alzheimer's disease. It was, yeah. And the story basically was being a big head may be good for you. Scientists found that large-headed individuals with Alzheimer's have better memory and thinking skills than sufferers with small heads. All of which is quite interesting. You see, the next paragraph I found difficult to take. People with larger than average heads, like comedian Dara O'Brien, appear to be better protected if they develop Alzheimer's disease, as studies suggest. Now, that would be all right if it wasn't for that. Like, the article actually came with a giant photograph of me next to the article, under the word big head, that protected against Alzheimer's. And written underneath that was extra large, : report is good news for Dara O'Brien. No, it's not. It's not good news, because I suddenly realise I've got a big head, apparently. What do you mean you've suddenly realised?
What do you suddenly realised? Dara, protect us from the Alzheimer's.
Forget about it. In Canada, I did some modelling. It was for medical. It was for penile dysfunction. It was a before and after picture.
This is true. I didn't model. I don't model for big head things. I don't regard myself as having a large head. I don't have difficulty buying hats. I don't have difficulty getting into jumpers. My head is causing me no...
When did those three guys get here?
To be fair, a big head doesn't normally cause the owner a problem. It causes the owner's mother a problem. How do you feel?
And you do look... Have you ever seen Dara?
It's smaller than my hips, for God's sake.
Your head is smaller than your hips. What kind of shape are you? You're a peanut.
Shakira's.
Of course my head is smaller than my hips.
Dara, but it's...
Is your head not smaller than your hips?
No! Dara, look at me.
Oh, you're weird.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm going to take you to a hall of mirrors and show you how you should look. It's going to be the kid from Mars. You see, look at that. It's fine.
Your head is absolutely enormous. In fact, on a normal-sized head, that would be a full head of hair.
But the good thing
Are you not staying in my house tonight?
When Dara opens an umbrella, it's like one of them little cocktail rooms.
To put in context how big it is, Dara, it has its own gravitational field. It's pulled in an entire planet behind it. This desk was straight when we started.
I was expecting sympathy. That's why I introduced it.
What I did was I said something about... I revealed a weakness in front of 6 comedians, and I thought, there's a group that'll help me through this.
I think of you all as friends. I don't think of you as comedians.
Sepp Blatter sounds like Sepp Blatter.
What it actually sounds like is a German man saying stepladder.
Yes, Hugo, that building is on fire. I'll get a stepladder.
Is it quite a small building? Firemen have a stepladder. Oh, well, turns out this was the wrong thing to bring to the World Trade Center. It's considerably higher than we'd imagined.
Anyone that wants the correct answer?
Blatter stays in power.
That's very good. Well done, Chris. Yes. The answer I was looking for was Blatter stays in power. This is the news that Switzerland's Sepp Blatter has retained the presidency of FIFA following an election in which he was the only candidate. The election went ahead despite calls from the English Football Association to postpone it following months of controversy for FIFA in relation to allegations of corruption and bribery. This, by the way, is the ballot slip that was used in the election.
That's actually a mock-up from The Sun or something.
That's genuinely... That was done over somebody's shoulder, yeah.
It looks weirdly like Facebook. Dislike.
Yeah. Or indeed when people go, I've never heard of Joseph. Who's Joseph? I've heard of Sepp. He's a friend of mine.
And was the German candidate going well? I was voting for stepladder.
That name is very high on that bit of paper. I may need a stepladder.
We start with a round called Headliners. Here's a picture of Libyan leader Colonel Gaddafi in casual mode recently. But what does LCGA stand for?
First of all, is he Lionel Richie's melting waxwork?
Is it little cap, giant afro?
Do you think it's all tucked in? Do you think it's all squeezed in?
Is it love confuses Gaddafi's assassin? I would kill him, but look at that little smile. How could you?
Is it least convincing goatee award?
Is it lovely cap, General Armani?
Is it Leicester City's goalie arrives?
It really was an unusual transfer window when they picked up Colonel Gaddafi.
The 4 things you're not allowed at the party. Is it ladies, cocaine, Glaswegians and alcohol?
Is it...
very racist. Thanks for opening the racist door for me.
Do you actually have a racist story? I always imagined it was more like...
children's show.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, children, shall we open the racist door? Who's behind... Oh, it's Ching Chong Chinaman.
At the risk of being satirical, is it just Lockerbie cover-up, Gordon agrees?
Fucking Radio 4 now, Dennis.
With your correct sounding answer.
Is it what George Bush used to call him? Little crazy goddamn Arab.
I know
Who
this
will be
one,
appearing
actually.
behind the racist door in the next edition of Frankie's Funhouse on CBeebies.
That's a different show altogether. It's my late night show, Dara.
If you look at it really closely, the answer is Leonard Cohen's great aunt.
I'm genuinely going to have to get a correct answer.
Libyan Colonel... Oh, no, Libyan celebrate Gaddafi's anniversary.
It is, of course, well done, Hugh. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Libya celebrates Gaddafi anniversary. The colonel seized power at a military coup 40 years ago this week. How time flies. And the country marked the occasion with 6 days of extravagant and compulsory celebration. How was it? Did you enjoy it?
It was absolutely fantastic. I had a whale of a time. Every time the dip star were absolutely outrageous.
I would imagine it was top quality hummus, all right. Yeah.
It was fantastic. They compared it, didn't they? He said that it would be a celebration on the same lines or even better than Beijing 2008, didn't they? And the reason he said that was because apparently, as well as fireworks and stuff, they've got the world's biggest tent.
Yeah.
That was amazing, which isn't even true. The biggest tent in the world is the one Vanessa Feltz uses when she goes to Glastonbury.
A friend of mine.
Not for you. It's the world's biggest tent, though. It would have taken an absolute arseache to put it up, wouldn't it? Do you think they just spent ages?
Andy, you're putting your tents up wrong.
Yeah.
Well, how do you? They had the Italian red arrows at it. To me, all the red arrows are just cowards, aren't they? Highly skilled pilots who, while we're at war, choose to perform at country air shows. Have you seen any action recently? Yes, Farnborough. I killed a family having a picnic.
During the actual ceremony, the ceremony, the usual stuff, there was dancers, and then there was like a big eye for no properly explained reason, and people would walk into the big eye.
That's them going into the party. You should see where they're coming out. It's really great.
And then as well as that, there was this weird kind of motif, which was they commemorated the hanging of Libyan patriots by the Italians, right?
Do you know what you can't see just out of that shot? The relatives of those people are desperately trying to guess the letters of a huge word.
Is it a miniature of that as an executive toy?
Yeah.
It's almost like Libya forgot about Gaddafi's 40th anniversary and had to pick up a stage show on the way home. Quick, go to the garage. We need a massive international stage show.
I've got an eye. What does that represent? I don't know. Looking at things for 40 years. Good work, good work. Good work, because this obviously is what Gaddafi looks like these days. Yeah, which is, let's face it, quite rock and roll. In fact, it's exceptionally rock and roll when you see who he most resembles in the world, which is Tom Jones. And I'm just like, you couldn't just pick... You pick any photograph of Gaddafi. Look, in a hat. But what's this? Oh, my God. It's Tom Jones. Tom Jones. Who was at it? Who attended, by the way?
Well, no one, really. There was one world leader who came, didn't he, in the morning. That was Berlusconi.
Berlusconi accepted the invitation when he heard that Jordan was going, although he left early when he found out it was the country.
Because it's always going to be a different party once Berlusconi goes. You know, you're like, oh, cancel the cat-headed women, send someone out to buy Boggle and Scattergoose.
They had one Western leader at it, and that was because, like, Mugabe and various people arrived, but they also had, excitingly, the President George Abella of Malta and his wife, Margaret. Which just sounds like the most, like they drove there with a caravan. Traffic with a bitch. Traffic with a bitch coming over.
All the way through, go, oh, hot, isn't it hot?
Oh, it's hot. Oh, these sheep's eyes don't agree with me.
They were worried, weren't they, that Al Megrahi was actually going to show up. And it's a 6-day festival, and Gaddafi is a maverick. There were loads of pictures of Al Megrahi, weren't there?
There were.
And you're thinking at some stage, not only will there be all the Scottish flags flying again, but you quite expect Gaddafi to wear a Celtic scarf, have a little kilt, be eating porridge oats, watching somebody toss the caber, going, ah!
Can you excuse me while I just lock the racist door?
At the minute, the whole thing's even more confusing than it has been. That's why all this is going... The whole in and out thing, I think everyone's finding it difficult.
Yep.
In and out is a very hard decision. It's like the other day, my flatmate was making me a peppermint tea, and he said, would you like the bag leaving in or taken out? And it's very hard, because if you leave the bag in, then over time, the cup of tea itself as a whole will get stronger, and it might appear like the bag is getting weaker, but it's now part of a stronger cup of tea. Whereas, if you take the bag out, the tea's now quite weak, and the bag itself goes directly in the bin.
That may be the smartest thing anyone has said in the last 2 months.
If you go to the wrong website, it'll give you a little shock so you don't go on the website.
Yes, it
but
does
surely
do
if you
that.
go on a website that you shouldn't really be on, you just delete history, don't you? I mean, the tricky bit is not deleting history. The tricky bit is then going on all the innocuous websites afterwards so as it doesn't look like you've deleted history. That's the tricky bit, isn't it?
History seems to be very empty in this computer, because
Yeah.
I saw you on it all evening yesterday.
Yeah, I never touched the deleted
I've never on
history.
it, like, yeah. Yes. Private browsing, Andy, private browsing. My favourite member of the Army Corps, private browsing. Good afternoon, private browsing. Are you on duty again? I certainly am, Dara. I shall be protecting you from any inappropriate sights. Private browsing, reporting for duty. Pants down, private browsing in here.
I shall protect your browsing while you shop for gifts for your wife. Because that is apparently what private browsing was invented for.
I love that. Oh, I mean, I've got private browsing on because I'm shopping for some gifts for my wife. Oh, really? You seem to be buying her pornography. Are you sure this is the gift she particularly wants? Private browsing. Reporting for
She
duty.
told me that her favourite film as a child was Double Fist and Fist.
Private browsing isn't happy with it. Private browsing has never had to work under these conditions before. He's mainly used for shopping for gifts.
Private browsing is retraining as an electrician.
Why did you leave the army? Oh, the things I saw. I saw some things. I saw some things.
You weren't
in the
there,
army.
man.
You weren't there. You weren't there. You didn't see what I saw. The first casualty of war, my friend. When you're private browsing, the first casualty of war is innocence. Private browsing. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what I'm doing like Benny Hill. Private browsing. At your service. Madam.
Benny Hill would do.
No, it'd be like, you know, what's it, the paper clip that would appear. It seems
Oh,
legit.
You look like you're buying some pornography.
Small animated soldier came out and said, do you want to look at the porn? Private browsing can help you with that. I'm amusing myself here. It's the last record of a long summer, you know? Literally, I've got to enjoy this because in 3 days' time I'll be going, over the next 12 weeks, 20 candidates will be putting themselves on sugar.
Private browsing's going to get some visitors.
He's going to get some fucking hammering.
I think your penis is going to get some corporal punishment.
There'll be some major damage and general recklessness. Here's chickens, nurses, and rain. What is the question?
Is it, what does Heston Blumenthal put in a trifle?
Is it name 3 things?
Is it what are the most used sound effects in the radio drama Monsoon Poultry Hospital?
There's been another monsoon for the chickens! Why are all the actors Scottish in Monsoon Poultry Hospital? Is it? Doctor, I think this chicken is drowning.
All the things that my gran says are stealing her money when I go and visit her in the care.
OK, what's the correct answer?
Name 3 things you won't find in a chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it what are the opening stage directions in the television drama Monsoon Poultry Hospital?
Chickens, nurses, rain, a man walks through the fog.
So this is the hospital I'm working in now, is it? None of us can claim complete cleanliness in terms of tax avoidance, particularly if you're self-employed anyway, because there were schemes that were picked up, film investment schemes, for example, that a lot of people had put money into. I myself, and Phil, we just have to say this, I'm part of a film investment scheme. I put all my savings into the big budget production of Monsoon Poultry Hospital. I think it's right. Well, you're involved as well. I mean, because I play the role of Morag the nurse. Monsoon Poultry Hospital. I think we're going to make a lot of money back. It's me and
Does
you
that say
are involved.
By Alfred Hitchcock.
It's nice to know where the budget for this show goes.
I want to know, by the way, how well I look as a nurse. Surprisingly fitting. Big shoulders.
You've got a hint of the readers' wives about you.
I'm delighted. If you turned up at my bed in a hospital, I'd discharge myself.
Listen, I have no surprise, no doubt you'd discharge yourself. During the week of the procession of the torch and the endless procession of the torch is Jill Mackinson Sanders, who's the mayor of a town called Louth in Lincolnshire, who decided, as the torch was passing through her town, to dress up as one of the local products of the town of Louth of Lincolnshire. The town of Louth of Lincolnshire apparently is famous for its sausages. Here's how she tried to dress up to welcome the torch. She ran alongside the torch, as a giant penis down the street, screaming. It looks like you. It does not look like me. Nothing. My arms do not start above my chin. No, that's for
the 100th programme and the first time we've been heckled by the audience. You look like a penis sausage.
Penis sausage. Do you want to do it? You probably can do some clever directorial thing just to disprove the fact that I look, can be done. You see, just to scotch the rumours that I look anything like a 6-foot-tall penis sausage.
Oh, look, man.
Nothing like that.
Hold your cards up.
Other hand.
Well, somebody's got a new Twitter avatar.
Things you didn't hear at the Olympics.
And it's gold for Ireland!
It doesn't feel like the country's got football fever. There are taxis with the George's Cross in the window. There's a lot less of that than there used to be. The only piece of really exciting memorabilia we found was, I think it was on sale in Asda during the week. This is great. It's great for a number of reasons, not least the name of it, which we can show it's called Wearing Flag. I got me wearing flag.
Not wearable.
Not wearable, not to be worn. Me wearing flag. And then you actually get the flag out, like whatever. And it may seem slightly transgressive to anyone watching now that I would now drape myself in the English flag, but trust me, it is worth it, because it has been slightly controversial, this one, for reasons I can't quite figure why this has been as controversial as it has been. I can't see any kind of negative connotations with this at all.
I'll tell you what, that Gandalf's let himself go, hasn't he?
Ramesh, if you're walking down the street and a number of men, enthusiastic English supporters, happen to be walking down the street towards you, they'd just been to Asda, they'd also bought the burnable lawn crosses, it's bizarre. Oh, you'll find the Death Star will be quite operational when your friends arrive. Sorry. That's fantastic.
I think it's so difficult is you look racist, but you look so adorable.
What would help is if you had a flake sticking outside of it.
OK, at the end of that round, the point's going to Ed Hewitt-Milton. It's kind of a little joke I do with the studio audience here, where I say, oh, don't worry, you'll never be a camera pointed at you over the course of the show. When do we ever show the audience on Mock the Week? Only when we had Andy Murray, and none of you are Andy Murray. Do you remember that joke from earlier on? Well, tonight, one of you is Andy Murray. Ladies and gentlemen, in the audience tonight, Wimbledon champion Andy Murray! And thank you very much for joining. Congratulations. How are you? Well?
Yeah, good. How are you doing?
Very, very well. Very,
Imagine
very well.
if he'd gone, no, I'm shit. Am I allowed to ask Andy a question?
You are? Yes, I believe you are.
You kept looking at notes between the... Were you slowly working your way through the Chilcot report? It's 2.6 million words. I've got to get through at some point.
I got a question as well. This is a bizarre question. How many bananas do you eat during a game? Because they eat bananas, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. Well, obviously, you're turning to me here. Well, yes. As an elite athlete, I often eat bananas and chocolate bars. And it's delicious. Sorry, yes. How many would you get to? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, well, like one.
It will depend on the length of the match, because during the Tsongas match, that's 4 or 5 bananas. That's a 4 or 5 banana game right there, you know what I mean?
Well, for you it might be, but one.
Right. If we were talking about chips, that might hurt, but bananas sound like, oh, it'll be 5 a day.
Hi, everyone. What is the most shocking thing you've done under the towel?
When you threw the tennis racket into the crowd, it's a gamble, wasn't it?
Did you try and see it? Did you overarm it? Because that would be even.
No. Because I've got tickets to see the javelin at Rio 2016. I'm absolutely shitting myself.
Yes, now that we've done our informal press conference, we start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board are 6 categories. By the way, welcome all the way from South Africa, Loyiso. It's a pleasure to have you here, Loyiso.
Thank you.
Welcome. Which category would you like?
Home news.
Home news it is. The category is home news. The answer is 12 days. What is the question?
How long is Andy Murray gonna party after his won Wimbledon?
We'd like to do him so.